Well, we're coming out of a long weekend. Did you travel anywhere? Did you go out and dine? Did you do any shopping for the festive season? The customer and the consumer is back, and how in 2021. And that's something that you're seeing being reflected in the consumption stock prices as well. But to talk about this festive season, the consumption-led demand that we're seeing in the online world and the offline world, we're being joined by Kumar Rajagopalan, the CEO of Retailer Association of India. We're also being joined by Pushpa Bector, Executive Director at DLF Retail, Luxury and Shopping. Thank you so much for joining us here on The Market. Pushpa, good morning. This is Nantara. Coming out of a long weekend, what kind of a demand did you see? What kind of crowds did you see in your malls and, of course, your high streets, whether, it's a Horizon 1, Cyber Hub, etc.? What was this long weekend like?
Well, it's been, I must say, quite positive. People are right back for both shopping as well as dining. All our spaces saw footfalls which were near normal to 1920. So yes, I think, from people coming back and especially shopping is, I would say, back with a bang. And we hope that this is the start of the festive season and the mood carries on. It's been, I would say we are all cautiously optimistic now.
So Pushpa, when the shoppers are back, are they back to where they were pre-COVID? You're also going to have to compete in the offline world now with the e-commerce space. E-commerce has obviously gotten bigger thanks to the acceleration of digitization, this, that, and the other. So are you working with brands to offer more discounts, your own version for cashbacks, etc.?
Well, I must tell you the two trends that I saw, Nandara. When it was the first lockdown and we opened, at that point in time, online was still quite high. And it took at least 3 months before we saw normalcy and shopping return. This time, the return has been quite quick. From the month July on, we've been seeing that the trend for offline retail has been rather positive. And the reason is that, we are actually following international trends. Even in the US and Europe, the trend is that online post the second lockdown has not been as robust as it was offline. I'm sure they are coming up with their festive and I see a lot of discounting happening. We in the offline space, especially DLF, what we've done is really focused a lot on experiential retailing. Let me explain a bit more. For example, if you go into Emporio, you will see that there is a wedding concierge that we've created where all the headache of curating a high-end wedding is taken care of at Emporio by specialists. If you come into Avenue or Promenade, you will see stylists who are helping through, let's say, wedding shopping or fall-winter collection that will be around the corner. So it's really more experiential shopping. Along with that, we also think that, yes, there's some cashback never hurts. So we're tying up for the festive season with ICICI for cashbacks. But more than discounting, what we are really seeing, and which I think is a great positive input for especially offline spaces, is that people are shopping fresh merchandise. They're not looking for discounts. They are looking for experiences. I think that really is the difference. People have experienced both online and offline. They clearly know what they want to go for when they come into the malls. Our F&B, on the other hand, we've seen that the surge has been very positive in spite of the 50% seating. We in DLF are, we adhere to norms, and all across, it's still 50% seating, but we do see that the turnovers have increased, the sales has increased. So even if the footfall is at a portfolio level around 70 to 75%, the sale has gone beyond 90 to 95% when it comes to the 1920 numbers. So that's the trend. As I said, we are positive, we are optimistic, and we're just hoping that there is no third wave and, life gets back to normal.
It sure seems to be. If you go or happen to be at an airport or at a mall, it seems like there is no pandemic at all. But Kumar Rajagopalan, if I could get you in on the discussion, while there's no taking away from the fact that the Indian consumer is back to spending, but are they spending big is the question here. Have ticket sizes as well increased?
Yes, that's a nice question. Good morning. I think Pushpa touched upon it already in a different form. The fact is that the footfalls in most of the places are still not what it was pre-pandemic. Many of them are seeing the 60, 65, 70% footfall. However, the business, if you look at our report for the last month, was at about 96% of pre-pandemic level. And therefore, the idea there is that when customers are coming in, they are clear about what they want. They are much more indulgent about what they want to do. And they are also coming back with a sense of cheer. So currently, the basket sizes have definitely gone up. Overall, the buying is increased. Footfall is not increased so much. And I mean, it has two sides to it. If the footfall does not increase for another week or 10 days, then we are slightly worried that maybe in the last week of Diwali, there would be a big rush inside the stores, which everybody would want to avoid. So if you're a customer, I would say, go now and buy rather than to wait for the last hour rush. Currently, it's all very nice. Footfall is not very high. The conversion is quite high. The basket sizes are much higher. And also we are seeing a nice trend about some of the items that were hitherto a worry, some categories. For example, garments. For almost through the pandemic, the garments was not seeing good positive growth. Last month, garment sector is really picked up quite a bit. Similarly, jewellery, footwear, etc. is also showing good signs. So people are going out, and that is what all this is indicative of. People are meeting each other. So I call this the cheer shopping concept, because that's what is happening. People want to go out and feel the cheer.
Absolutely, the festive cheer is out there. But just to stretch that point forward that you were just making, Kumar, wanted to understand what is the top category? I mean, what are Indians spending most on? Because when we speak to digital aggregators, they continue to maintain that it's actually the beauty segment, irrespective of the fact that people are not going out as much as they would have pre-pandemic. It's the beauty segment that is seeing the maximum spends.
Yeah, that's a nice question. So the things that have continuously done well is electronics and CDIT. We call it the CDIT, the consumer durables and information technology, etc., which everybody needed all through the pandemic, and it was also allowed to be sold. So that's kept well. Food has been consistently available to everybody. Eating out is now picked up. So the trend is very clearly that people want to go out and experience. When it comes to beauty, if you look at our report, it's not showing that it's at 100%. It's improving. It's not improved fully. And you're right. It's just that people do not have enough occasions to go out and use beauty products. It doesn't mean that they have not been buying it, but they're still content with buying it online to a large extent initially. But now it's changing. So we are seeing that in the mall specifically, lots more shopping is happening at places where there is a high touch point requirement. So people who want to have that particular kind of lipstick, that particular kind of beauty product are all going back and buying it inside the stores. So while the online beauty segment is always done well because people have to have a certain set of products all through their lifespan, when it comes to indulgent beauty products, it's now happening. So I would think that online and offline both will keep continuing to grow now. I don't think anybody is now thinking so much for offline, so much for online. Most of the retailers have become omni-channel. But the beauty of all this is that customers are shopping. Initially, they are doing what I call as the discovery phase of shopping at home. Many a times they are doing browsing all through the night also. And then by the time they come into the store, they already know what they want. And then, of course, there is a couple of things that surprises them and they buy that also. So we'll have to wait and watch. It's early times. But beauty was doing very well online, not so much offline, but now it's picking up.
Pushpa, we are, getting unreal stories that how because of demand and supply constraint, a lot of retailers are running out of inventory. Whether it is a Rolex showroom in Mumbai or a EC's showroom in Pune. What are the chances that while the customer is back, the footfalls have increased, it may not translate into actual transactions because there is lack of merchandise.
It's a,
That's a great
whom are you asking-
question.
whom are you asking this to?
Yeah. Who are you asking this?
Pushpa.
Yeah, that's a great question. Now, what's happening is that watches, especially, yes, Rolex, has always looked at exclusivity in supply. And that's been their luxury strategy all through, and they've maintained that. So, yes, you're hearing a lot about the Rolex story because a lot more people are going in to buy that Rolex and they're not finding them. So, having said that, luxury, international luxury is doing rather well, as you know, because international travel is restricted and people are finding domestic consumption and luxury to be a new joy of life. And people in the pandemic, I think, from an experience point of view, they have come out realizing that they would like to lead a great life today. And who knows what tomorrow brings forth. That is definitely propelling luxury purchase, as well as the 400 million millennials. They are propelling the luxury purchase today in the country. But when I can talk about categories, where categories are concerned, we've seen post the second wave also, we see athleisure doing very well. We see now fast fashion has picked up as much as it had to, it's on almost 1920 levels. I'm talking about brands like Zara, etc. Luxury has surpassed the 1920 levels. When it comes to brands which are at this point plateauing, people have not really missed during the pandemic. They are the ones who are plateauing, and it's very clear to see. An interesting trend that's come up is the made in India, vocal for local kind of brands. They have started doing rather well. And across our portfolio, we've seen that the new age brands are doing rather well, because it's also an indicator that millennials are coming back to shop. They are preferring the new age brands. And so the small new age brands is one. And on the other hand, there is international luxury. The ones which still need to pick up would be, of course, Indian wear, ethnic wear, which has only reached around 60% of previous levels, be it designers out of India or be it Indian wear. They will hopefully now, with the festive cheer and the wedding season kicking in, they should also have a good season. That's the indication that we've got. But so far, the trend has been up to 60%.
Okay, that's a great point. Mr. Rajagopal, let me get closing comments from you. While today we are excited that consumer is back, what are the chances that this is more like a cheer shopping or a revenge shopping, if I may use the word sugar rush, which is that you wanted to buy, but you are buying after 12 months, after 18 months. But once you make those purchases, things can come down, which is that this festival season, we may be at a high point, but post that things may start dropping, and they may start dropping very sharply. Could that happen?
I hope not. I would think that I've always maintained that shopping is all about sentiments. And if we can continue with the positive sentiment, then we should go back to a sense of normalcy after about a couple of months. Currently, of course, I like the term of sugar rush, but I still call it cheer shopping. I think there is the sense of cheer for customers. They are there. But mind you, they are not there in droves. They are not flocking into the stores yet. And that indicates that there's lots more people who still want to come in and buy. The recency frequency is not as high as it used to be. So when they come in, they buy more, but they don't come in so often. I think this is the current trend. And I think that thanks to the fact that we are living in an omni-channel world, lots more browsing will happen, lots more visibility of what's available will happen, lots more planning will also happen. But this whole thing is about India's story. I think if the economic story of India is still intact, and if we don't land up into a very high inflation, or we land up into a situation wherein we are not able to afford things anymore, I don't see this not really continuing very well. We've got everything going for us as a nation currently, and I hope that continues, and therefore positive sentiment should continue. Many people did save money during pandemic as much as some of them did not get money. So the savings is also coming into fore. People are also getting much better credit currently. We are seeing lots more shopping happening on credit. So that's also available. Credit shopping happens when people believe that future is also quite nice. So as long as future looks rosy, positive sentiments are intact, we should be okay. We are not into a situation where there is a mad rush into the store and so we can get worried, oh, it's a real sugar rush. In that term, that's why I'll not still call it a sugar rush, because it's not as if they've come in and started voraciously consuming. They are very, very careful about what they are doing currently.
So let's see how the revenge shopping pans out. You've heard it from Pushpa Bector of DLF saying that, you're back at 2019. Shopping cart checkouts are better than 2019. Cashbacks being offered in conjunction with ICICI, and of course, Retail Association of India also reiterating all of those points about the consumer being back. We'll take a short commercial break, but stay tuned. A lot more coming up on the other side. We're going to be talking about revenge travel as well.